no Summergand, and they're away. On the extreme left, Aphelios, and one of them is unseated, leaving the starting stalls. And that looked to be Rum Star. Rum Star has been unseated, leaving the stalls. Aphelios on the far side showing good speed. Also over on the far side, Vintage Clarets, the loose horse preceding them over there. Showing speed is Watcher, and also Mr. Wagyu on that far side. Chasing them hard then on the far side is the favourite Orazio, who's just joining into the centre group now. On the stand side, it's significantly from Apollo 1, then Bielsa and Sterling Knight and Badri just behind Good Earth, Juan Le Pan in the red cap, and then chairman of the board as they race on down towards the final couple of furlongs then. Hard to say what's in front. Well, the loose horse is the one that's leading. Apollo 1 coming through on the stand side to lead now, heading significantly. Down the centre is Aberama Gold with Mr. Wagyu. On the far side, Orazio is coming through a bit now. Right on the far rail is Aphelios. Also running a big race is Elise Dancer, and it's Aberama Gold in the centre that may lead. Elise Dancer on the far side, Apollo 1 on the near side, and then Mr. Wagyu as they race up towards the line. Aberama Gold from Apollo 1, and Aberama Gold has won the Stewards Cup from in second Apollo 1. Tight for third, Mr. Wagyu possibly on the near side, Bielsa. On the far side, Elise Dancer ran a cracker, and running on was Spanish Star, followed by significantly and Aphelios, and behind those Al-Bashir.
Aberama Gold in the Stewards Cup makes it a third win of the week for Andrea Atzeni at what might be his last Qatar Goodwood Festival for a while, depending on how the Hong Kong project goes. You're not going to get conditions like that out there, are you? You're going to miss this kind of stuff.
I hope not. It's pretty testing out there, but that's why it makes this country such a unique place to ride, because it could get any ground and every track is obviously different, and I would miss that, because obviously Hong Kong you race in two tracks every week, so it's a same tracks every Wednesday and Saturday, obviously Shanteen and Happy Valley. But what makes it a bit more special in the UK is these different tracks and obviously different types of ground. But anyways, it is what it is.
It's Britain's unique selling point, isn't it?
It is for sure. It's for sure. I think we're very lucky here. That's I would say I've been lucky enough to ride everywhere in the world, and he's probably the best racing in the world. Let's forget about the prize money and everything else, or everything else behind it. But it's different, it's unique. Some of the best horses here, some of the best jockeys. But yeah, no, I won't miss it.
I suspect it's a challenge, isn't it, as for you as a professional? You've got to master the idiosyncrasies of every track and how the weather might change that.
I agree. That's the most difficult part, I'd say, in UK. You have to adapt to each track and whatever ground is. And but yeah, no, listen, I've been riding here for 15 years, so I got used to it.
Yeah, I reckon you have.
Yeah.
3 winners this week. Aberama Gold, the latest of them. Now, David was just saying that you came back in and essentially said that was quite straightforward. Was it?
It was, to be fair. The only thing that it didn't really affect me was obviously the loose horse was drawn next to me. Obviously, when the stalls opened, the loose horse trying to go under the gates and unseated the rider. And but for me, it was pretty straightforward because, the horse I was drawn 14, Jason Hart rode it. I knew he was going to be a forward-going horse, and I wanted to use him as a target. He travelled beautifully into the race, and it's like anything, when the ground is that deep, you never really know how much you're going to find off it until you actually ask him to do it. To be fair, when I let him down, I wouldn't say he picked up on it, but he kept going, because it's hard going out there.
It must be specialist out there.
Oh yeah, it's very deep, and the further you get to the line, the harder he gets.
Now, I've spoken to Richard Kingscote, who was on the runner-up Apollo 1's, finished second again, and Richard was saying the bends out there are unraceable. We got away with it going on a straight track. What's your view of the raceability of the track? And I have seen the Stewards delegation go out with some of your colleagues.
I think I agree with Richard. I think we were lucky that obviously the Stewards Cup is on the 6 furlong straight. Obviously the first sort of 3.5 furlongs you haven't been used as much than obviously the round course, so it's slightly fresher ground. But yeah, I'd say especially what's the next race, I think it's a 7 furlong race. Yeah, they could struggle, but obviously they're going to have a walk and see how it goes. But it is very, very testing. Yeah,
you have to go through the proper procedure, but it
Sure.
sounds like you're in agreement with Richard. When you pick out Goodwood, when you think back of your career here at Goodwood, is there any race that immediately comes to mind? Is it Stradivarius?
It has to be. Yeah, it has to be Stradivarius. 2 Goodwood Cups. It's definitely my highlight of Goodwood. Yeah, I rode Expert Tide that day. Well, 2017 it was. I think I had a full-timer, and Expert Tyre won the Vintage, and obviously Stradivarius won the Goodwood Cup. And then Breton Rock won the 7th Autumn race.
The Lennox.
The Lennox, that's right.
Yeah.
A big prize, and then I won a handicap later on. So that was probably one of the best days I've had here so far. Anyway.
That is a sweet day. Right. Well, I'm not going to say we're going to miss you because there's still a long month to go. But congratulations on a brilliant week.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Aberama Gold has smashed through the mud to win the Stewards Cup for David O'Mara. As the rain was sluicing down, I bet you were hoping, I do hope this race goes ahead.
Absolutely. Evan Sutherland that owns him, he told me he'd handle the ground better than most, and he was right.
And what were you thinking as you were watching the race? What could you see of the race?
I watched it inside there, and I saw it, very clearly, really. The loose horse was a bit of a concern early doors, but late on might have been a bit of a help.
And what did Andrea say when he came in?
Very straightforward, travelled well. Said the last half of furlong felt like a long way, but he said, again, like the loose horse might have been a help to him, but he said, the horse travelled beautifully for him. He could keep filling him when those around him were, coming off the bridle. So for a big heritage handicap like that, Andrea described it as going pretty easily.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what do you take from that about the horse's future?
Well, I've inherited a very good horse off Keith Dalgleish. That's what I take from it.
How long have you had him? A couple of starts?
This is the third start for me now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So can't take a great deal of credit for him, I must say. His owner and former trainer know him far better than I do. But I'm lucky enough to have him today.
You're going to miss Keith on this scene, don't you think?
We are, yeah. Absolutely, yeah. He'll be a loss, especially to Scottish racing, and it could have just as easily been him stood here.
But it is you. So what might you plot ahead now? What kind of thing are we going to see him in things like the Ayr Gold Cup? Is it going to be all of these best handicaps?
The Ayr Gold Cup would be a good target. Between now and then I'm not certain because there's a bit of time. They've got to 7 weeks or something like that to Ayr. So I don't know. I'll speak to Evan. He's very good at figuring out where he likes to campaign his horses.
Okay. And this horse is quite versatile. He's not just a mudlark, though, is he?
No, probably doesn't want it rattling fast, but anything else is fine.
Okay. And have you had a chance to catch up with Jason? Do you know why Summergan was withdrawn?
I think I haven't, but I asked Andrea what happened to him. I think he just reared up in the stalls and got his leg momentarily over the top of the gate, which these days means that they come back out. But I'll go find him now in a second and make sure he's okay. Yeah,
and he, of course, won this race 3 years ago, didn't he?
Yeah, so he might be the Ayr Gold Cup horse this year, maybe.
And how does it feel for you to be winning it again? And I realise you're handing the credit, understandably and rightly, to Keith, but how does it feel for you to be here?
Oh, sure, it's great to. I mean, this is, I'd say, apart from the Balmoral, it must be the equally most valuable handicap in the calendar, I think, is it?
Mm-hmm. You probably know better than me on that.
250 grand, I think, was a total purse today, and I think the same is true for the Balmoral. So it's brilliant, isn't it? Yeah.
Very much so. And how do you reflect on your week?
Well, we've had a good week. We've run 6 in the mile, and they were all drawn in double figures, which didn't help. Although darkness did sneak into the places, and mind you, double figures won it in the end. Yes. I think Johan was out wide, but going into the race, we felt with the draw that we couldn't really win it. We ran fine. Ross Collin won earlier in the week for the racing TV crew.
I didn't notice.
Did you not know? No. So yeah, we've had a great week down here, and Andrea's had a brilliant week.
Yeah, he has, hasn't he? 3 winners now.
He'll be missed.
Yeah.
Won't he, to English racing?
Yeah, very much so. We're going to cherish him, I think, all the way through to York, but you're absolutely right.
Here's Jason now. I'll have a quick word with him.
Okay. David, congratulations.
Thanks.
Watch live racing now on racingtv.com.